Welcome back to the channel, guys. Before we even get started with this video, may I please ask you guys to hit that like button, consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video and have not subscribed yet, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. But let's get started, guys. Today this video is more so of a relaxed discussion type video, more so than a review. So I finally finished Death Stranding after years, right? Not years of playing, but just years of owning the game in my backlog. This was actually one of the last games I pre-ordered for the last generation of consoles. I believe it was Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Days Gone. You know, around the end of the PS4 generation, Sony was absolutely cooking. They was in their bag. And this was one of the games that really intrigued me. I just thought, you know, from the trailers and everything that was being shown led up to the game was very vague and just, you know, mysterious. The world was just calling out to me, man. So I ended up pre-ordering the game, and quite frankly, at the time, I loved it. I put in about 30 hours on my PlayStation 4 Pro before the new generation of consoles came out, and I ended up getting a Series X. I never went back to play my PS4 Pro after getting my next-gen Xbox. I said I'd wait until, you know, I get a PS5, or I really didn't like the original model of the PS5. I thought it was kind of ugly, quite frankly, especially compared to the series consoles. That's just my opinion. No console warrant. Then it was just other things like, you know, no 1440p out of the box, and, you know, Sony was quick to get in on a $70 game. So it was just a few things that kind of turned me away from getting a PS5 day one. But last year when they announced the PS5 Pro, I was just absolutely hyped, and I ended up pre-ordering one, man. And with that being said, I've been going through my backlog this year, and quite frankly, I probably spent the majority and most of my gaming time on my PS5 Pro, which is not a complaint because I'm absolutely loving it. And I say all that to say that, you know, I decided to continue chopping down this backlog. And as of recording this, Wednesday, June 25th, Death Stranding comes out tomorrow. Death Stranding 2, comes out tomorrow for me. And they'll probably definitely be out by the time you've seen this video, for sure. I just feel like after rolling credits on the first game, I had to make some type of review/video discussion about it, because this is now one of my all-time favorite games. I was not familiar with Hideo Kojima work leading into this. I guess I did not get in on the Metal Gear Solid games when I was younger and stuff like that. This game right here is just a masterpiece of art, story, technical achievements, just sound design, everything, man. So let's get into it, because from the moment I played this on my PS4 Pro day one until now in 2025, playing the director's cut on the PS5, this game has always been a technical marvel, right? This game is absolutely stunning, from the graphics to the scenery, the way everything just mashes together with the atmosphere and the meaning of what you're doing. Just all goes together so extremely well. And to me, I love game developers that take a chance on their games, and Hideo Kojima seems to be that type of guy, because in the previews for Death Stranding 2, he was kind of upset because everybody was enjoying his game too much, meaning it's not controversial enough. And personally, I really respect that. When we have a world full of just cookie cutter games where everything is kind of samey, it's really refreshing to get a game like this that just totally thinks outside of the box. Shout out to my homie Gritty. His love for this game is what, you know, motivated me to go back and finish this, because it did fall victim to the backlog, as do so many games nowadays, with the just influctuate flow of just great games coming out nonstop. So the graphics and art design in this game is absolutely amazing, whether it was day one on the PS4 or definitely now on the PS5 and PS5 Pro. It's just a gorgeous game, man. It's just stunning. Fantastic scenery. It's so lifelike. Character models is a highlight for me. And, you know, it's funny that I'm reviewing this first game in 2025 when the second game is launching literally tomorrow. And the second game improves upon everything I'm bragging about with this game. So definitely stick around and subscribe if you would like to check out my Death Stranding 2 review that'll be coming in the coming weeks or months. But the graphics and technical side of things, to me, was just spectacular at the time, and it still is today. You know, the Decima engine is probably one of the best engines in gaming, and probably one of the most slept on engines as well. And I really hope Sony and their first party studios continue to use this engine going forward. I don't think everybody should be running to Unreal Engine 5. You know what I'm saying? I think it's something really special when you have these in-house engines, you know, kind of like EdTech. Those in-house engines to me is very unique. That's why I was kind of disappointed when I seen Halo moving away from their engine with the Slipknot and, you know, CD Projekt Red with their Red engine. But, you know, these developers know more than I do. And if UE5 can help them create games faster and more efficient than the engines they've been using that I've grown and loved, then so be it. But I think Decima engine is definitely one of the outliers where it's so good that it should be used more, honestly, man. So the second thing like that really grabbed me with this game is just the world and the storytelling itself. Like, it's very intriguing. From the opening scenes to the closing few chapters, I was just, you know, absolutely hooked. In the last couple of days, the game actually like really just taking over my life, man. It's like I go to sleep thinking about Death Stranding. I wake up, you know, coming towards the end of the game. I was just like, man, I can feel it coming to an end. I'm gonna have to buy Death Stranding 2 ASAP, and I have no problem with that. I think the storytelling was absolutely fantastic and confusing as hell at the same time. But if you take the time to, you know, read your emails, read your interviews, read your lore, you can kind of put two and two together. And anything you don't understand after finishing the game, you could definitely go get a YouTube recap and kind of flesh out, you know, your thoughts about the game and the world. But I thought the storytelling was fantastic. You know, even though a lot of times you're talking to holograms when you make these deliveries, it's just like those are still people behind those holograms that are still trying to live and make the best in this world. And you being a porter and being able to bring these people these crucial supplies, whether it's things they might have lost, whether it's simple dumb shit like pizza or fish, or it's really important things like antibiotics, medicine, insulin. It's a lot of really dope concepts and unique things that make it feel like your place in this world with Sam absolutely matters, because a lot of people depend on you and it's not a lot of people doing what you're doing. So in that aspect alone, I really respected the story and really enjoyed it. And like I said, all of these together bring this game into my top 10, top 5 of all time. I absolutely love it. So, like, to me, the thing I want to highlight next is really the gameplay. I thought the gameplay was absolutely fantastic. Even though it's just walking is what an idiot would say. I think this is one of the games, and I put it on Twitter, right? I think this is one of the games where you have to have a brain to really appreciate the gem that this game is. You know, like, if you're just gonna go straight to where you're supposed to go without planning your route, yeah, you're gonna get stuck on a mountain, you're gonna run out of supplies, and you're probably gonna uninstall the game and say it wasn't for you and it was boring, this, that, and the third, and I totally respect that. For everyone, everybody have their different opinions, but for the people like me, the homie Gritty, my dog Reese, the ones who can sit down and use our brain, right, to plot out a correct path and course, whether it's going through snowy mountain peaks or going around a mountain if you don't want to go through the mountains. Like, it's total freedom, up to you how you approach getting to A to B. The thing I really liked it the most, and I kind of wish one of my favorite games from this generation did this as well, and that's Starfield. I really wish that they had an interconnected world. If you're not going to have multiplayer, I think in a game like Starfield would benefit from seeing structures and stuff left behind from other players. Because every time that happened in Death Stranding, I would just totally smile. You know, you crossing a snowy mountain and maybe you only got one more rope left to go down the mountain, right? One more anchor to put down to go down, or one more ladder. But then where you was going to put your ladder at, you see another player has traveled a similar way and you see his structure left behind. To me, that is absolutely fantastic. And at the time, it wasn't mind-blowing because we've seen it done in games before, but the approach that Kojima took with this method, to me at the time, was just like, yo, this is genius. And I find myself years later wanting some of my new current games that I love and enjoy, like I mentioned with Starfield, to continue to do something like that. I think is a very unique and dope thing to do. Now, the gameplay is just fantastic. You know, trying to figure out how you crossing rivers and mountains, to me, is really dope. This is somebody you're listening to right now who has fully surveyed close to 300 planets in Starfield. Most of those planets was the same shit, but guess what? I just love the exploration part of these games. Mass Effect 1 is my favorite of the trilogy just because I can land on these barren foreign planets and just walk around and explore, right? Whether it's lifeless or not, I just find that very fun. So being able to walk in a game like this, where it's on a set continent with handcrafted scenery, to me, it's just music to my ears. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And the last thing I kind of really want to talk about is just the music and sound design. You know, whether you're going through a snowy mountain with a blizzard going on and a whiteout, the wind ripping through my Still series was just a fantastic vibe and just so much fun to hear. But this game may have one of my favorite soundtracks in a video game ever. Every time you cross a beautiful valley or you get close to where you're supposed to be going, sometimes the music would just kick in, and it's so damn well done, to the fact that I had to go and download the official Death Stranding soundtrack on Spotify and Apple Music, because I just thought it was that damn good. And not too many games make me do that, but this was one of the few games that did. So for me, this game is not for everyone, but it's definitely for me, and I'm excited to play Death Stranding 2. This was just a fantastic game. In my opinion, it was a 10 out of 10 experience. I honestly think it was a masterpiece, and I can't recommend it enough. If you can sit through and get through chapter 3, which is the longest and probably the most boringness, or just get through the beginning of the game as a whole, man, this game picks up. The set pieces, the story, just everything in this game is just so well done, guys. And I just had to make a video, just freestyle, about why I appreciate it. I think it's a great game. I think Kojima absolutely snapped. And I think you guys should subscribe and hit that like button. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.